Howdy, cowpokes. Welcome back to ichibanhomie's channel. We'll be doing a little bit something different today for a different selection of our cowpokes on the stream. I'm, of course, referring to cowpokes who, A, like me, love deck building on the range, and want to know a little bit more about the basics because they're not as perhaps familiar with this game specifically, or just need a refresher in terms of what makes a good deck. If you're a beginner, this is going to be a great series for you. If you are looking to punch up your deck building, I think these will also help you. These are shorter videos in a new and exciting series we will be calling ichibanhomie's TheMoreYouKnowMes. This specific episode of ichibanhomie's TheMoreYouKnowMes, we will be tackling the basics of deck building, mainly win conditions. How do we win, and what does it mean to win at the end of the day? We'll be tackling one of these ideas far more than the other one, being that we won't be looking into why at all, because that's personal and I'm not allowed to ask about that. Let's go to the deck list. Alright. We have here the deck featured in my most recent video on the Muscle Dragon, an archetype invented by the great Luzeldon from reddit.com, who made a very impressive deck list that is very fun to play, helps you ladder very quickly, and I think is a great example to choose for this video on win conditions. Muscle Dragon is entirely about taking one card, Horns of the Dragon, a 4/6 with double attack, and giving it Overwhelm, allowing it to hit twice in a row. Especially when you combine it with Might, which gives it +3 attack plus Overwhelm, with a 4/6 Horns of the Dragon that then becomes a 7/6 double attack. You're doing at most 14 damage in one attack, probably ending the game. It's a very powerful combination. The win condition of this deck is to perform this specific combination. What is a win condition? Well, a win condition is whatever you need to do to win the game. Every deck in Legends of Runeterra, the League of Legends hit digital trading card game for adults, has a win condition, whether you know it or not. If you're just taking decks from the internet, you may not be thinking about these things actively, but they are at play, and they're working their nasty little webs behind the scenes, governing everything you do. By looking at the deck list here, we can isolate how this deck, which can be used to get to Masters, takes the win condition and builds completely around it. And for that, I'm going to be talking about the first thing you should be thinking about when you make a deck, which is your core cards. Your core cards are just the basics of what you need to achieve your win condition. They usually spring from having champion cards, because those are intentionally designed to be more powerful than the other cards, and then any other combos you have to win. So, for example, for this deck, our core cards would be these 24 cards, I would say, are what this deck is. It has every card that gives Might to another unit. Kato the Arm is a 5/4 that gives +3/+0 plus Overwhelm, which is what Might does. It has Might. It has Horns of the Dragon, which, as we discussed, will win you the game if you combine it with Might. And it has Zed and Draven, which are either used because they pair well with the combo you're setting up, and thus want to include as many copies of, so you are the most likely to draw it, or they help set up other cards that work well with the cards you're using. Draven, for example, is not amazing as a 3/2 with quick attack and Might. I mean, you'll probably get some chip damage in, but the main thing is this is a deck based around attacking, and the cards with quick attack are good at attacking. In addition to that, the spinning axe allows you to add more damage to your Horns of the Dragon when you go for the kill. I'm also including Ruined Reckoner. Ruined Reckoner gives you extra attacks for free when you play it. So, in the game, you can't play Horns of the Dragon until turn 6, and you have to play something turns 1 through 5. So, what are you doing before that? You're either setting up for Horns of the Dragon, which you may be doing in a more combo-oriented combo deck, or, because this is sort of an on-the-ground fighting mid-range deck, you're playing other units that combine together with your spells to get chip damage in to set up for the 14 damage kill from Horns of the Dragon. Turn 3 Zed into turn 4 Ruined Reckoner is what the deck is. Everything else in here is designed to set up this package. Another thing you should be thinking about with win conditions is a clock of when you are going to win the game. This is what defines the archetype of the deck. This deck, for example, as I noticed for playing 10 games for the video, if you go to turn 8 or 9, it is bad. It means you've missed an opportunity to win the game already. There's a good chance. Why? Because none of the spells we're playing include draw, include anything that gives you card advantage over the other player. None of them are setting up for anything that takes place after turn 6 or 7, when you can attack with Horns of the Dragon. This deck is designed to win on turns 6 through 8. You play Horns of the Dragon, and then you win either that turn, or you win the next turn. Ruined Reckoner allows you to keep doing attacks with Horns of the Dragon. I chose this deck for this video because it has a very clear win condition, and it's very simple in what that win condition is. If you took a different deck, for example, you were looking at, let's say, what was the one I just got? This is a tier 1 deck. I call this ladder hack because I have very little regard for tier 1 decks because I didn't make them, and the whole game for me is making decks. This deck, for example, is a Sivir deck, and it's entirely based around leveling up Sivir. It's a tier 1 deck because the cards you can put together to do that more effectively do that than, let's say, any of the fun make-em-ups that I'll do in an afternoon with cards that nobody else is playing. Win conditions are the first step you need to win the game, and when you can put them together, you can start making your own decks, which is the most fun thing out of all the make-em-up cards with your League of Legends pals. I don't know all the League of Legends pals, I don't play League of Legends, but I'm having a great time with making wonderful win conditions. I hope this video was helpful to you, and that you can use it when putting together your little decks, Cowpoke. So why don't you ride on into the night and make some great ones and play cards with those great decks, Cowpoke.